other than the All-Star game, which has really nothing to do with our team, it has to do with the league, is the barbecue. That's it. That's like my way of saying thank you. Give out trophies. We all get together. We do, we all laugh about memories of like stupid things that happened during the year. We have a good time. We start talking about the fall. We get the fuel going again. That's it. And then like a week later, we'll be playing fall ball.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. All right. Well, let's get back to wrestling, since we are a wrestling show.
That's right.
Despite having the damaged tag. So if we ever do get a call from James, what we're going to do is we're going to record it, and we'll probably play it on the next, probably the next show.
Podcast style.
Yeah, podcast style. Or we'll just add another section to this to the show. Maybe later on or another day, you'll see like an episode 17B.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll just have the interview itself with a commercial break.
Yeah, we've done something like that before.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes, for all you know, something might have happened. You've got kids. Something could have happened. It's fine and dandy. Mm-hmm. But let's get back to WWE. You got Raw tomorrow. You got SmackDown Live Tuesday.
Hey, they're still crushing indies on Raw. I like it. They're still crushing indie wrestlers on Raw. Strowman did it again this week.
Yeah, he did. Kind of reminds me, like we said, like the 80s,
mm-hmm.
when they used to have the weekly jobber. But do you really need like guys like this to make Strowman look strong?
You don't, but maybe they're really trying to do something for the industry and for like the
so bring up an NXT guy.
Well, that's what they should do. They should bring up an NXT guy, and the guy they want to throw up there to get, smashed up, put him in NXT.
Yeah, I mean, bring up an NXT guy. I mean, at least give Strowman a little bit of a fight.
Well, they will. They'll work into it like they did with Rusev. I mean, they gave Rusev Zack Ryder like 10 times. But then they had him competing with him recently.
I'm like, that's all they had. That's why. I mean, when Goldberg was going through his winning streak, he was
running through guys like that.
But he was also beating up Buff Bagwell.
He was.
He was beating up some names too. So
Big Show.
Well, that was in the streak. Yeah. That was a little later on.
But still.
But yeah,
what a streak.
Jackknife.
One of my favorite storylines ever in wrestling was that streak.
It was a great thing for wrestling. It really was.
I enjoyed it.
Goldberg,
the unstoppable force.
Goldberg was like, wow. Like you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah, but then he comes to WWE, and it's just like
they tried to replicate it. Came down. He literally destroyed Rock. And then they really couldn't do anything after that.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, you hit a roadblock now. Now what do? You can't replicate what WCW did because it was just so great and it was so unique. You couldn't do it with the same guy. They did it with Rusev
for a year,
but they couldn't do it with Goldberg. So they should, not that you can't really change his gimmick. Goldberg's Goldberg. You didn't have a gimmick, but you just. I don't know. It was just really weird, and then then he was losing stupid matches like the Triple H, and
it
was just like, it was like almost like he was getting punished for being there.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, you went on your little winning streak, and you beat up a couple of losers, and you crushed Rock on your debut, so we're not going to give you anything else big.
Yeah.
So you didn't drop a couple matches at Triple H, you're going to look terrible in them, and the whole sledgehammer thing. And eventually, he does beat Triple H for the title. But it was just like, how do you have a guy who was, obviously the winning streak number was bullcrap. It was like 100 and something. It was really like 40. Because there was no way you can wrestle that many times.
No, he did have about 100. No, it was up to like 180.
Eric Bischoff said
it had to be about 100.
When they did that interview, that behind the scenes thing with Eric Bischoff, he said that the number grew every week.
Yeah, but it still had to be 100.
No, it wasn't even close.
It had to be.
It was like 40 something.
Nah.
They were like one week it was like 90, and then the following week it was 102. How did you jump 12 wins?
It was a couple
when
of
you're
years.
only on TV twice.
It was a couple of years.
No,
that he had the streak.
It was a year. It was 1 year.
He had to have it for 1 year.
It was terrible. It was, and you figure there's only 52 weeks in a year. So even if you wrestle twice a week, that's 110.
So I'm saying it was about 2 years.
No, it wasn't even 2 years. It wasn't even 100. It was a fake number. They all knew it. Everybody that worked for WCW thought it was hilarious because the number just kept getting like ridiculous. But still, I mean, it was for a year, and then to have it end with the cattle prod from Scott Hall giving Kevin Nash the win in the championship.
Terrible.
That was
terrible.
Awful.
It was shocking.
Awful. That was more awful than Hogan turning bad.
It was, yeah. I don't know why they did that right there. I really don't.
Because
it didn't make any sense.
WCW had the loonies running the asylum.
Yeah, but they had it. They had something for a while.
They did, but then they started doing really stupid crap, and some of the crap that was bad was Tony Schiavone announcing the results of Raw.
Yeah.
Because it was...
Mankind won the championship.
Well, no, even before that, they were announcing the results of Raw on Nitro.
Yeah, and they used to piss me off.
Because it was recorded, and...
They used to piss me off.
But the thing was, it made sense. It did. Why turn to Raw when Tony Schiavone just gave you the results? Now just keep on Nitro. I already know what happened.
Yeah.
Made sense. It really did. But one thing WCW never learned was when the well's dry, you need to move on. They just kept digging and digging, looking for water.
They'd always be cuts, and they would always say something smart.
And, then when it was like, oh,
referring,
they're going to put the title on Mankind, yeah, that's really going to do much for business, and everybody changed the channel.
Sure did. Stone Cold came down.
They should have waited until Mankind won the title, then said, oh, they just put the title on Mankind. What a horrible match. Nobody would have. Everybody would have. I missed it. I might as well leave Nitro on.
Yeah.
But he said it before the match even took place, so everybody flipped over to Raw, and that was it. It was like 60% of the audience flipped over to Raw, and out of that 60%, only like 15% came back the following week.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Well, that was an unbelievable episode.
So it was.
Raw that was a great episode.
That was to me when
that was Stone Cold.
That was to me when wrestling took a shit and went down the tubes.
When
Mick Foley won the title. Mick Foley.
Why do you say that?
Mick Foley can't wrestle.
So what?
You're gonna put a wrestling championship.
Put his body through a lot.
Oh,
put his body through a lot.
Look, just so the stuntmen. They ain't putting the world title around their waist.
Hey, I mean, he wrestled for years. You gotta say he can wrestle.
He can't wrestle.
He's not a technical wrestler.
He's not a wrestler. He's a brawler, and some guys back in the day in the 70s will say he's garbage. He's not a wrestler. He's nothing. You ask any of those guys that were in our van, Killer Bees,
it's what was best for business.
They'll say that Extreme is garbage. It's nonsense.
Yeah, but it's what was best for business at that time.
Yeah, but it wasn't best for WWE. Mick Foley couldn't wrestle. He never could wrestle. He could put his head through things. He can fucking put his tongue through his lip. He can fall off the top of the cage.
And to have the underdog always prevailing like that,
yeah.
It kept people tuned in. It did. It worked.
Sound familiar?
It worked.
Sound familiar? Daniel Bryan.
A little bit. But it worked.
Roman Reigns.
That was bad.
Well, it's the same thing. It's the underdog. Try to do everything possible to keep that person from winning. So the crowd's just going to keep watching to see eventually this guy's going to win.
But it still worked at that time. I mean, they bought WCW right after that.
It was a couple years later, but
the Attitude
and then
Era,
they screwed that all up too. But the Attitude Era was over by the time they bought. That was moving into the Ruthless Aggression Era.
That was towards the end of the
because they had
Era.
after they bought it out, they did that whole invasion storyline.
That was towards the end of the Era.
And then that was towards the end, and then it became the Ruthless Aggression Era. They tried to keep ECW. And that was garbage.
Yeah, real quick.
I don't recognize Ezekiel Jackson as the last ECW champion. The last ECW champion is Rhino.
That's right.
Rhino. The most coveted free agent in SmackDown.
That's right.
Go figure.
I know. Isn't that
full
awesome?
swing. The 41-year-old rookie.
Isn't that awesome? Getting that call.
We call him up from NXT. You going to WWE again. Again. For the fourth time.
It's got to be a good feeling. Good for him, though.
Oh, man. He deserves better than that. He really does. He's been a trooper. He deserves better than that.
Better than to be on SmackDown?
No, he just deserved better than being stuck in NXT for a year.
Well, he deserved better than that, yeah. But, I mean, he's got a call up now.
Yep. Oh, they emptied NXT. They drafted a lot of people that shouldn't be there. Nia Jax is terrible. Carmella, I don't think she's ready. And I wasn't impressed by the alpha males or whatever they were. Wasn't impressed with them.
Me neither.
So I don't know. And then I don't understand. They bring them up, they beef these guys up, and they give them a couple of weeks worth of storyline runs, and then they kind of disappear, like the Ascension. What the hell are they doing?
Nothing.
The Vaudevillains.
Part of the cutscenes.
What the hell happened to the Vaudevillains? They had the biggest storyline against New Day. They lose a match, they're done. One match, you lose one match. That's it. You become a backstory, and the only time people get to see you is when they do, the whole Frostas on the stage.
I don't know. I don't really think that the fans take to them.
They don't have to. They're heels. One thing you got to learn about heels: nobody likes them. You don't have to be liked. You come down wanting to be hated. If you become a loved heel, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, you won over the crowd, which means you can do anything you want.
Yeah, basically at that point.
Yep. And that's the problem. The reason why Bray Wyatt became a loved heel is because they kept giving him a push as a heel, only to stop it. Undertaker, John Cena, just recently when they had that 6-man scramble.
Yeah.
And then again the other night when he fought Ziggler for the right to go
I know,
on.
Why would they do that? Why would they have something like that? Why would you do that? You gotta be more creative than me, and this is just not the way to go.
It's just you kind of run out of options of what to do with Bray Wyatt. Now he's solo, so it's just him.
You might see a run in here or there. I mean, you already seen Orton on Raw. You've seen Lesnar on SmackDown.
Daniel Bryan's supposed to be on Raw tonight. This is why. Monday night. This is why the breaking them into two different. It doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna have these guys jump ship and go after each other, and I understand it's for a storyline, but what are you gonna do after SummerSlam? How are you going to build up storylines for Raw versus SmackDown if you don't have these guys fighting each other? That's why my idea was the champions. That would be Dean Ambrose, The Miz, New Day, and Sasha Banks do not belong to a show. They can wrestle on whatever show they're needed on. And that will start great storylines, because when you get to pay-per-views, now Sasha Banks can defend that title against Charlotte, or she can defend it on SmackDown against Becky Lynch, or any of those girls. So now she's just not on one show defending the title against one group. Mm-hmm. The same 5 people over and over and over and over and over. Nobody wants to see that. Just like nobody wants to see a women's tag team division in SmackDown. No one wants to see that. So you're going to take those 10 and you're going to make 5 tag teams? So there's going to be no singles women wrestling?
Yeah, that'd be a bad idea.
Well, that's the way it's headed.
I know, it sure looks like it.
So that's why you have the champions